sir. Reading you loud and clear. Clear. The clock has started. The clock has started.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Yeah. Welcome to Pressing for Flight. Coming at you live from the Space Coast, where the schedule never holds.
Never ever holds.
So before we get started, I was reading the Facebook page for Pressing for Flight, and I was reading the bio that I did not write, but Matt wrote. And it reminded me that we need to, probably every episode, make the disclaimer that we are not experts.
Nope.
We are just really interested in this stuff, and there's going to be a lot of things, especially when we get into technical stuff, that we're probably going to get wrong. We're trying to get it right, and a lot of times we're just kind of going off of memory, and we'll try to Google stuff whenever we can. Yeah, we're definitely not experts on this stuff. For experts, you want to look to people like the Everyday Astronaut and Scott Manley, to name a few. You've got your Neil deGrasse Tysons. He's an astrophysicist. Anybody from NASA, Bill Nye. I mean, he's kind of controversial. Some people don't like him, but I do.
I love Bill Nye.
Yeah, Alan Stern, guys like that, guys that are really in it. So I hope that nobody's here trying to get like highly precise technical details from us.
Come up from sure not.
You're gonna get maybe 60% correct.
Yeah.
I mean, we enjoy it. I mean, we definitely have a passion for it. We definitely love it, but we are not experts by any means. We just love it a lot.
Yeah.
Like a whole lot.
So this week in space, actually we do have some Space Coast specific stuff, but the first thing I wanted to talk about is not Space Coast, although over there in Boca Chica they might be Space Coast number 2. But it just came out this week that SpaceX is attempting to buy all those houses nearby, near their launch complex in Boca Chica, where they did the Star Hopper. Y'all know the one. And apparently, do what?
The big old school rocket.
Yeah, you know the one.
Buck Rogers.
Yeah, and apparently they have offered 3 times fair market value, I guess is how you say it.
3 times market value.
Yeah, for everyone's home.
I wish you'd do that in my neighborhood. I'm only a mile away from the Cocoa one. I'm like, hey, come on, give me 3 times. I'm out.
Yeah, he's like, nah, we're not going to launch from Cape Canaveral. We want to launch from Cocoa.
Yeah, buy me out.
Well, okay. Well, I was going to say, what do y'all think about that? Well, Keagle just said what he thinks. He's
give
like,
me 3 times the value.
Man.
I'm out.
Come on.
I don't know if I've ever cared about anything enough to not take 3 times what it's worth.
Yeah.
No house, no place I've lived. I'd give it all. Yeah, no way. I'd do it.
Well, because the idea is that, you take that 3 times the value and just go buy the same thing somewhere else, right?
Yeah, I think it's just like people that have lived in their house since their grandparents and great-grandparents, and they have everybody's notches on the door frame of all the kids growing up and stuff. Those are the people that don't want to give up their houses.
Yeah. Well, there was an article, I guess one of the ladies that lives out there that's actually been providing pictures and stuff, Maria Pointer, she had Business Insider come, and who was it that did the video? Did y'all see it? Was it CNBC or one of those? And she was doing kind of like a walk-around interview kind of thing, and then they talked to a couple other people. But I think the idea was that they moved to Boca Chica specifically to kind of get away. It was like a nice little town by the beach, but not like a tourist town, because it's like a tiny village. They showed an aerial view of the road that all these houses are on. It's a very small road, and there's not very many houses. And I see now why it's called a village. But I think one of the issues is that it's not my idea. It's an issue that I heard somebody else suggest, was that the property value there may not be very much. So 3 times whatever the value is still might not be enough to make yourself whole somewhere else. You know what I mean? You go try to move somewhere else, and you might be in, you might be living in squalor because that's all you could afford with what you got.
With your $250.
Woo!
I'll give you 3 bouts.
2 days at Disney World.
So the reason I keep hopping is because I got one of those nice gamer chairs. You guys have seen them. Like real streamers use these. I've got my hoodie hanging off of it, but you guys have all seen this. If you watch streams, you've seen a chair just like this. Well, I don't know. You got to spend more money than what I did because I don't know the canister of air that supports, you pull a lever and you drop down, right? Well,
The hydraulics.
yeah, the hydraulic
Keeps
thing.
sinking.
It keeps sinking on me. And I haven't even had it a year, I don't think.
Oh no.
I'm just wondering why you have a hoodie out in Florida.
Oh man.
Keep you insulated.
I am such a
Heat.
wuss when it comes to cold. Actually, I put this thing on the other day because Brad had
What?
the AC set to like 71 and I just get cold, man.
Dang, I bet your electric bill is fantastic too.
It's not bad.
71.
It
Mine's
used to be.
78 all the time.
Right?
Oh.
Gee.
Ugh.
78?
No, I'm down with like 73, 74.
That's why my electric bill is under $100 during the summertime.
Ours is around 100 now. Now that we have an AC that works. But anyway, yeah. So Boca Chica, man, I kind of feel bad because like if I lived there, I'd be so stoked to live right there. But then to find out that, oh, this thing's gonna get so big that they need to buy my house and I have to move away. So I don't know what they're going through right now.
I mean, I seen the video not the video, but the pictures that I guess it's from Maria's house, and I mean, she's literally like right there,
Yeah.
like right
Yeah,
there.
I had no idea until I watched that video on, again, I don't remember if it was CNBC or I don't know, CNN. I don't think it was CNN, but it was one of those, and it was like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that they were that close. I mean, I knew that they were. You say it's in your backyard, but I could say that Kennedy Space Center is in my backyard too, but it ain't that close.
It's literally in their backyard.
It's like bam, it's like right there.
Literally in their backyard.
Yeah, so I guess they have let's see, when did this come out? This was yesterday, so I guess they have 7 days left to accept the offer. I mean, they're going to go up. Apparently, Texas has really strict property rights laws, so I don't know if they'll be able to pull like a eminent domain type of thing,
Yeah, I don't know for a private company
No.
you can do that.
No.
Oh,
definitely
true. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
more for like public stuff, right?
Yeah, if they're going to build a road or slap a highway or a train through there or something, yeah, they can do that. But
So so what are they going to do? Is that, you think that's what they would do if they couldn't get people to accept the offer? You think they would work with the Boca Chica government or the Texas government and have them build
money
a
talks
road?
sometimes. Money talks.
Yeah.
You just
I
get-
bet they'd do it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that they'll just keep offering more and more money.
I don't think so. I think eventually it would come to a point where that would just become silly. Because then, like, what, you're offering these people $3 billion for their house and they're still saying no. They're going to have to do something. They're going to have to strong arm them if they keep saying no.
Well, I wonder if there'd ever be a case where it's like, all right, you won't sell your house? Well, we're going to launch anyway, and, your life will be at
Cover your
risk.
ears.
Yeah.
Or, maybe they would force them to leave their house. Well, they force us to leave our homes during a hurricane, and we still don't have
Well,
to
they don't
go.
force you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Mandatory.
advise.
It's mandatory evacuation. Mandatory.
Well-
They need to change the definition mandatory or use a different word because mandatory ain't really mandatory.
No.
Well, maybe SpaceX will come by and put some ballistic windows for them, so if the thing does blow up, they don't shatter their windows.
Yeah, that'd be nice of them, wouldn't it?
Costs less money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You guys want
there
to you want to
go.
hunker down? Maybe we'll just build a big wall.
Yeah.
I know someone that's good at that.
That wants to build one right there.
Yeah, yeah.
It actually was supposed to go right through there, and they had to get some kind of exception so that they wouldn't build the wall right through the launch complex. Yeah, so yeah, I kind of feel for them, like it's exciting for them, and now they're being asked to leave. you know. I don't know. It's one of those like,
Well, not ask. They're trying to be bought out.
yeah.
Right, basically.
I mean, but yeah, they're like, hey, we're gonna give you money, but we kind of need you to leave. So.
Should have moved further out in the desert, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Well, a couple days ago, there was actually some good activity up in the port. Some good Space Coast stuff to talk about on the show. My buddy Greg Scott was actually the one that tipped me off to it. He was out there at the port, and we saw that Miss Tree was getting her arms back. And so I guess it was Monday that he was out there, and I guess the day ended with either one or two of the arms being installed. Now, if there happens to be anybody listening that doesn't know what Miss Tree is or why a boat would have arms, it's one of their fairing catchers. So SpaceX is trying to reuse as much of the rocket as possible, obviously to save money, lower cost of space flight. But the thing about the fairings in particular is they're a big bottleneck in the production line, because apparently these fairings, while they seem somewhat simple, they take forever to create because they have to like bake them, right, in like a huge autoclave, and they have to bake them for a really long time. And so
Aren't they part fiberglass?
I think it's carbon fiber.
Yeah, carbon fiber.
Yeah,
baked.
and it has to be baked, right?
Yeah.
So, Elon has said that the fairings are a big bottleneck in the production process. And so reusing them not only saves the money, but it can help speed up the launch cadence, which is good for us.
Yeah, more launches.
Yeah, more
It's
launches.
been quiet around here right now.
So I was out there after seeing Greg Scott's pictures. I was and follow him on Twitter, y'all. He lives closer to the port than I do. He's like a mile away from the port, and I'm like 3 miles. But while I was out there, here, let me share my screen because I don't know if y'all saw this. I know Matt did, but I don't know if everybody else did. But looked over. I looked over at Of Course I Still Love You, the drone ship, and they were using that new massive mobile crane to move one of the thrusters, and I didn't even know that one of them had been removed. I guess they were doing some maintenance on it. I don't know. This could be a brand new one. Who knows? But I thought that was it was kind of interesting.
That's definitely a brand new one.
You
That's
think?
pretty shiny. Or they just refurbished it.
I mean, they could have painted it or whatever. I mean, I'm not sure we can really know. I mean, hell, we didn't even know that one had been removed. Let's see. But at the other end of the drone ship, there was this thing hanging off of the side. It seems like a counterweight to me, and somebody found a picture of it. Let's just show this thread. What was it? Somebody found a link to a company that makes these things. Yeah, the water weight bags, water-filled weight bags. So you fill them with water, and if you need to lean your boat or whatever one way, you lift it up out of the water, and if you're all good, then you just drop it in the water, and then it's not pulling down on that side anymore. But why? I'm not sure. Maybe they needed that extra weight to kind of where was that video? Yeah. Oh wait. They needed that extra weight to kind of pull that other end of the drone ship up just a little bit more out of the water, just to give them that clearance, just in case maybe the waves were kicking up, and they just didn't want anything to come up and surprise them and grab that thruster and pull it down.
All right.
Yeah, but the big thing was that that's not the right one. I was out there taking videos, and there's Kramer. Yeah, so Miss Tree got her arms back, and I was able to get time lapse of the last one being installed. I can't tell you how many people asked, why is this dock creeper like creeping along? It's because my camera's on a slider, people.
What?
What is this sorcery?
Witchcraft.
It adds dimension when you have something in the foreground moving. It adds dimension. It helps. I don't know. It kind of helps you appreciate the distances that are going on there.
If you can't do it on a cell phone, it blows people's mind.
Why is the dock moving?
Wow! How'd you do it so slowly?
Yeah, so it was a pretty cool process to watch for me. I don't know how everybody else feels about it, and thank goodness for Adobe Premiere having the stabilizing feature, because that video was shaking around like crazy whenever I first ran it.
Just from the wind?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that was zoomed in quite a bit with the big lens, and it was just shaking all over the place. Maybe someday on the show we'll talk about how to do this kind of stuff, how I do these time lapses, and how to make them steadier so it's not shaking all over the place. I've had a few that, man, I've
give away all your trade secrets, Steve.
Hey, man, part of it is I wouldn't know what I know if it wasn't for other people telling me. So you pass that knowledge on.
I wouldn't know what I know if I didn't listen to you.
Yeah. Yeah, we go out there. We learn every single time. Sometimes we're just learning that we're forgetful and we suck. Like
I've done that. I left lens cap on before on a long exposure.
Have you for a launch?
Yeah.
No.
But then I caught it at the end and I pulled it off, and I was able to salvage the photo a little bit. It's just when it was taken off, you could see a little gap.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like halfway up and gone.
No.
It's just like, oh no.
Yeah, I was like, oh
God. Let's go. Oh no. And then you.
I was trying to protect it from stuff getting on it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Out here, but I think maybe a lot of people, if they don't live around here, what they might not realize is like shooting out here is really tough, and there's lots of different factors, but one of them is that, if you're planning on doing your long exposure streak shot or whatever, so you set up your shot like, maybe an hour or more in advance, and you're like got it all angled just right, and your settings, and you're ready to go. All right, turn the camera off. Now don't touch it until launch. Well, over time, salt is going to form on your lens from that breeze coming off of the ocean, and you're gonna end up with a blurry photo. And also there's the humidity, and sometimes, and Keagle experienced this one time for Falcon Heavy. It was the which one? It was STP2, right? The one that had
the night one.
Yeah. And I thought at not the last minute, but like an hour before, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and throw that hand warmer on there. And Keagle was like, nah, man, it'll be good.
And that looks good. I left my camera out for like
good.
5 minutes. Well, yeah, I kind of playing Photoshop, I made it a little bit better. But it does have like a hue, from where it reflected on the moisture on the lens.
Yeah, you see the glow around it. Yeah. I
did it on purpose.
Yeah, it was an artistic expression.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man, the humidity here sucks.
Yeah.
For photography. Actually, for anything, man, the humidity sucks here.
Nobody likes humidity. Like every time I leave my house and go out to shoot anything, it's like I need to put my camera bag in my trunk, which it's a Prius, so it's like more like a hatchback, and I open up my camera bag so that the cameras are all exposed and the sun's beating down on it to try to get them warmed up, because when they're inside my apartment, it's cool 72 degrees, but you go outside and as soon as you expose those lenses to air, they just get condensation on them like crazy.
You should take that hoodie and put it on your cameras.
Keep it warm
while they're in here.
Yeah,
I don't think it works that way.
So what I use, because my job, I have access to a lot of desiccant packets, and what I do is I stuff all my camera bags full of desiccant packets, and that really helps.
Is that the do not eat packets?
Yeah, desiccants.
Desiccant.
Yep. Okay. Desiccant packets. Moisture absorbers.
Well, that helps until you actually pull it out of the camera bag into this humid air, and then
That's true.
Well, I mean, it definitely. I'm sure it helps for being in the camera bag because
Right.
even in the bag, there's the salt air. You know, it's everywhere,
Right.
and that actually would be really nice to have. You got any
Well,
extras of those?
yeah, I got you, man. So what can happen is when you're out shooting and you got all this moisture going on. Well, the moisture, unfortunately, is the tiniest of crevices. You know what I mean? So when get done and you think you wiped it all down, you put it back in your camera bag. You think, oh, okay, we're good to go. Well, over time, all that moisture staying inside your camera bag can cause fungus. It can cause what's called spider veins on your lenses, and that's what you don't want. You don't want fungus growing inside your lenses, so that's why you get the desiccants. Fill your camera bag up with the desiccants. That way, you don't have that problem.
I love that, man. Yeah, I want to get some of those for sure.
So if I get you some desiccants, man, no worries. Like
I mean,
I have a lot.
do you?
I have a lot. I've been stocking up for a while.
They just come in things, and you just grab them when you can.
Yep, that's it. Yep, I have. Yep, I see hundreds of those a day, so I got you. No worries. And I got some cotton too. I use those to start fires when we go camping.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
nice.
oh, yeah. Lots and lots of cotton and desiccants.
Bekah, how you
Yes.
doing? Hey, we didn't
I'm
even
good.
introduce everybody. That's what we missed last week. How you doing, Bekah?
Fantastic.
You got any questions about photography or desiccants?
I was going to ask Matt to say the word one more time.
Desiccants?
Desiccants. Can you spell that for me?
I sure can't.
Good, check it out.
That you'd have to Google that one. I have no idea. D blah.
I'm gonna see desiccant.
Desiccant.
Oh, desiccant. Yeah, no. Here we go. Here, desiccant. It's DESICCATE.
Yeah.
Remove the moisture from something caused
Yeah.
to become completely dry. Okay.
Silica is what they are. They're silica packets.
That's what I thought. Silica gel. Okay,
Yeah,
'cause
silica,
that's like what
yeah.
comes in your new purses. Well, mine
Yes,
purses. You guys
exactly.
don't have new purses.
Yeah, no new shoes or new majority of a new anything that you buy is going to have the desiccant packets in it, or the silica gels, the do not eats.
The do not eat packets. Yeah.
The do not eat packets. The do not put this in your mouth and try to taste it.
Oh, but
Suck
here
all
you
the
go. However, the packets, or this one here, maybe this is a brand. It's desiccant. I think that's how you were saying it, right?
Yeah, desiccants. Yeah,
Desiccant,
the
okay.
desiccants, silica packets, silica gels. They all absorb moisture, and you can actually take them once you've been using them for a while, and you can actually take them and like put them in your microwave for like a few minutes, and it'll actually dry them out, and you can start using them again. Yeah.
See, you thought we were just going to talk about space on this show. Welcome to Pressing for Flight.
Where you learn all kinds of new stuff.
Yeah.
Talk about moisture absorbing
Hey, man, you
Well, I
never
mean,
know. I bet they've got them on the space station.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when you're out there shooting, you know what I mean, taking pictures of rockets and launches and stuff, you got to have a way to dry out your gear. There you go. Desiccants, silica gels, the do not eats.
Yeah, do not eat.
Does the space station have dehumidifiers and you can reuse that water from the moisture and drink it?
Well, they do. Yeah, they definitely do recycle the moisture from the air. So yeah, they
Yeah,
probably wouldn't
They
use the
got
desiccants. Then.
Yeah, they got dehumidifiers. You want that water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They recycle water, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Urine water.
Some of that yellow water.
That's a sound effect I need. Homer doing that.
I could taste you, Bill.
Yeah, I do want to go through and introduce everybody and give everybody's handle. So Bekah over there, she's Game Master Bekah. That's because her handle is because we have another show we do called Verbal Assault. It's not for the faint of heart. It's not safe for work at all. But she's the Game Master for that show. So she's Game Master Bekah. Keagle.
Makes sense. Yeah.
He is
I'm here.
FLA Steve 321. That's Florida Steve 321. How you doing, bro?
Yes. I'm doing good.
Yeah.
Just hanging out, talking about space.
And Matt Cutshaw, he is the founder and operator of Next Horizon Spaceflight, who was so kind to invite me to shoot under his banner, and that's been very helpful and quite rewarding, I would say. But he tweets at booster_buddies, just like it sounds, booster buddies with an underscore in between. And I'm
That's right.
Steve at Space Coast _STVE because some guy Some guy, I think I don't need to say his name, but somebody is parked on Space Coast Steve and has not used his account since the day he created it,
Yeah,
or at
it's
least
sitting
the
there.
month, or at least
He's
the month.
probably
And that was April of 2014. And I was waiting for April of 2019 because I had read somewhere that after 5 years, if you have no activity, that Twitter will close your account. They have
said, whatever.
They've done no such thing.
I feel like 5 years is a very long time to give someone a
Right.
chance to use their Twitter.
Yeah. Yeah, he retweeted some stuff at some point. Like,
that's
or
probably why.
not at some point. I'm sorry. Like during that first month, any bit of activity is from his first. Anyway, that's not what this show's about. Let's talk about space. So the next thing that I wanted to bring up, and this is a little more close to home, even though this test did not take place here, but it has to do with the Commercial Crew program, which will all be launching from the Space Coast. And this video came out from the Commercial Crew program of the SpaceX Crew Dragon undergoing a special kind of parachute drop test. So tune in, and we'll talk about it. Is that too
Ooh, I
loud?
like the music.
Is that too loud?
It's a little loud. There you go.
All right, so yeah, they're simulating a pad abort. This is supposedly the capsule. Well, actually, this isn't the pad. This is the pad abort part, where the capsule is tumbling, and they want to test and make sure that the parachutes can still deploy successfully, even though
Falling.
as it's tumbling. That's the important part, is that the capsule's tumbling, and then those parachutes were deployed, and it was still able to successfully deploy those parachutes, which I'm pretty sure we wouldn't be seeing this video if it wasn't successful.
Yeah. I tell you what, I would not want to be in that. That looks like it'd be one hell of a
Oh
ride.
man, you're not kidding.
That's what I'd be doing. It's like the worst carnival ride ever.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that music really is so inspirational.
Look how big
Those parachutes, I know. I love the way parachutes look when they're like every video I've ever seen of a capsule coming down under parachutes. It just looks so graceful, you know.
It's like watching test patterns on old TV shows.
Yeah. And then I'm not sure if they did this on purpose, but the cameraman is set up on the other side of this hill from where it's gonna land.
You can't see an impact.
Yeah, because you know that impact is not soft.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah.
Dang, man. What?
I wonder how many G's when that thing hit the ground.
I know.
Survivable and that.
Well, see, the thing, Blue Origin does that all the time. Anytime they launch the Shepard or whatever, and it comes back down, it always lands within some kind of impact, but it never looks like it's going to destroy the capsule.
Well, no, that's that impact. It's not actually an impact. They have, and the Soyuz does this too. Whenever the astronauts come back from the space station on the Soyuz, they land on land, but it gives this poof, like it has retro rockets right before it touches down to slow it down that last little bit. And actually, if you watch a New Shepard capsule coming down, when you see that poof come out, you'll see it kind of glide, kind of like a air hockey puck. Right. You see it just kind of like there's the poof, and then it's like it kind of moves laterally a little bit, right?
It kind of drifts a little.
Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that when that poof happens, that's probably a jarring experience in and of itself.
I'm sure.
But yeah, Bekah, I think we watched this last night, and I was like, hey, think of a question. And you said you had one. Do you remember what it was? Oh, no.
No, I don't. And I frankly don't remember watching it. We watched it last night. All right, so here's
either during verbal assault or afterwards or something. And I was like, think of it must have been afterwards. And I was like, yeah, think of a question. You're like, oh, I already have one, but I'll wait to ask you.
All right, so here's an impromptu question.
All right.
All those parachutes, how many parachutes does that thing have?
4.
Total. for? How could it,
Well,
it seems
total, you've got 2 drogue chutes as far as I could tell. And the drogue chutes are there for 2 reasons. One, to slow it down a little bit, because if you pull those main chutes first, they'll get ripped to shreds because you're going so fast. So the drogue chutes are going to come out and they're going to slow you down just a little bit because they're smaller parachutes. But then whenever it's time, they pull out the main chutes. So
Okay.
something is a hook in there that's released, and they are attached to the main chutes, and they assist in pulling those main chutes out and kind of keeping them oriented in the right way, as far as I can tell. Again, we're not experts.
and that thing, what is that? The Crew
Crew
Dragon.
Dragon, yeah,
Why is it called the Crew Dragon?
because SpaceX's capsule is just called the Dragon capsule. It's just the name that they gave it. It's named after Puff the Magic Dragon, apparently. And this is the crew version of it. There's also
So there will be people in it.
yeah, there will be people in it. Yeah, and this is the one that you remember when I did the NASA social earlier this year. That was the one that was the test flight, the uncrewed test flight of that capsule. Do you remember?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that thing, the Crew Dragon, hit the ground. We can't know because it was blocked by the hill in
Right.
the desert or whatever that was. But it obviously was going really fast. Okay, why can't they make the parachutes bigger or something? Would the parachutes being bigger not help it slow down more?
It would. I'm not sure why. Well, I know that the Starliner, which is Boeing's capsule, it's the same thing. It's to carry crew to the space station. There were 2 companies selected to do this, and it was SpaceX and Boeing. And Boeing has the Starliner, and they are going to land on land, but in order, or their method of like making the landing softer is they're going to deploy like these balloons, basically these inflatable things are going to shoot out from the edges, like around the heat shield, to absorb that impact. I mean, those parachutes are really big, and I'm not sure that adding more parachutes would really do the job. I really don't know. This is definitely an area for like a Scott Manley or something to explain why not just throw another parachute on there and have it come down slower.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not going to be the person that comes up with the question that makes them be like, "Oh yeah, we've been doing it wrong this whole time." But
Bekah?
I feel like there's got to be something. I mean, what about just like another little thruster guy on the bottom so that it can push it while it's going down?
Now, it is worth noting that originally the Crew Dragon they were planning on landing it on land, and they were going to use these thrusters. You're about to see these thrusters in action, but it's going to be a pad abort test. But they were going to use those to come down, kind of like the Falcon 9 comes down. They're going to do retro propulsion and guide it down and land it on land. And these landing legs were going to protrude out of the bottom, which is through the heat shield, right? Because the heat shield is covering the entire bottom of the capsule, and it has to. Like the heat shield, if the heat shield ain't right, astronauts die.
Yeah.
So the reason that they scrapped it is because it was probably a combination. NASA wasn't comfortable with it, but also the development to make sure that that section of the heat shield where those legs would protrude out would not be like a risk problem. You know, like when they're coming through the atmosphere and everything's on fire around them, all the plasma's burning, and the scariest part of reentry. You have to be sure that having those holes cut out for those feet is not going to be an entry point for those flames to get in and destroy your spacecraft. But I do want to show you, because I know we may have all seen this, but I'm pretty sure Bekah's probably never seen this, but it is pretty cool. They did this, May 8th of 2015, this pad abort test. And this is just the Crew Dragon with its trunk, which it has a trunk. where they can put things that don't necessarily need to be inside the capsule, but they can grab from the outside. So this will be kind of like bigger things that they'll grab with the robotic arm. It's called Canadarm because Canada makes it.
Does it have that cool tailgate like those one trucks do?
Yeah, the Gator Gate, where the air can just flow through it, right?
No, the one that's got like the
6,
different levels. You
5,
can go. What is going
4,
on? Oh, I was like,
3,
countdown.
All right,
2,
here we go.
1, launch.
Right now,
So yeah.
Engine shut
150
down.
meters per second.
So those thrusters would be the
Below
very
nominal.
same ones that they would have used to land
Over
propulsively,
1 kilometer.
but now their
Trunk
sole
deploy.
purpose is for an abort. So this is what would happen if the rocket, for whatever
Trunk deploy.
reason, started to explode underneath the capsule while the astronauts were inside,
Sequencing the
and
maze.
then it would just release from the rocket and take
Passing
off
through
and
600
fly
meters.
out over the ocean. And this was a pretty good
Downrange
tumble
distance.
test too, because if you notice, it was not exactly upright whenever
Trunk
those
deploy.
parachutes deployed.
Yeah, I had to spin around.
Yeah, look,
see
see,
the
it's like
booster
upside down
deploy.
right there.
Yeah, it fired and moved it, flipped it upside down.
Yeah.
Sequencing the mains.
So yeah, the drogue
Passing
chutes
through
pull out the
600
main
meters.
chutes. Do they even have 4? Is that
Downrange distance.
just 3 or is that 4?
Looks like 3 from this angle.
Yep, just
Yeah,
3.
3.
And then one thing that was kind of neat, this takes a while for it to get down, so I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. But look how close to shore it lands. They'll show a better, yeah, here you go. And there was even talk like it landed, look, there, the surf, like it's like,
Right.
it's like at the surf.
Dang.
Wow. Yeah, you
Yeah.
see the waves crashing there? Dang it, I keep bringing up the timeline.
I think is it floating? It's in the water.
Yeah, it is floating.
Oh, okay.
Wow,
Yeah,
that
we're
was
close to
like
land,
really
yeah.
close.
Yeah, there was talk like I don't know if it was supposed to land that close to shore. Man, I wish I'd have been here for that. That would have been so cool. That's kind of reminiscent of the pad abort test that we saw actually when Bekah first moved here. Except
Hey,
that
you
one
wanna
went
know
up
what's
way
bad?
higher.
I lived here during that. I didn't know that even happened.
Oh yeah, you didn't.
No, I had no no clue.
Yeah, you weren't following it quite as closely. as
No,
you
not
are now.
2015. No,
Yeah.
I knew SpaceX was doing stuff, but I didn't know they were doing abort tests. I knew they were launching rockets.
Yeah, that was one of their requirements. Now I don't know if that was one of the requirements that NASA made or if it was one of the ones that they elected to do. Because like the upcoming in-flight abort test, where we get to see the rocket actually launch with the capsule on top, and then I don't know how they're going to trigger the abort, if they're going to actually blow up the rocket or if they're just going to abort off of it.
Separate it.
Yeah, and then maybe the rocket will still explode. I'm not going to say that I would mind that happening. I'd like to see an on-purpose explosion.
Some good photos.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
And I've thought a lot about that, and I'm not sure that the photos are going to turn out great because you don't know what exposure you should be at. How much should you compensate for the brightness of the explosion?
Well, that's why you just bring multiple cameras and use different settings on both.
But you're going to be
Hold
zoomed
both
in
at the same time.
Yeah, you're going to be zoomed in
Yeah,
so
yeah.
tight on it that you can't operate 2 cameras at once like that.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And you can't just set multiple up on tripods pointed in the same direction because you don't know exactly where that explosion is going to happen.
But what if you got lucky and you got the best picture of all time just for trying it?
Just for trying.
Blow up on the old the Twitters.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Every once in a while, someone gets a good photo.
Yeah.
Yep. It happens.
So what do you think about that, Bekah?
I think you.
I just
you've
want to keep
answered all
calling
my
you
questions.
out. I just want to keep calling you out and be like, what do you think about that? What do you not know? Tell me what you don't know.
It'd be easier to tell you the things I do know,
Oh,
and
that's not
quicker.
true. All right, what do you know?
And we're done. That's
I
it.
would say don't have a heavy breakfast before going on any flight
Yeah, no kidding, man.
because that looks rough.
I think that I would not want to be inside of that. Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
that's what I think. I think that if it lands in water, I mean, the impact is still going to be
Significant.
really, really rough, but it's not going to be as rough
Well,
as landing.
and you have to understand that those seats are made and angled in the most optimum position to absorb the impact like evenly throughout your body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't know if it'd be painful. Just make sure that you're not like lifting your head up. You know, at the time, you know, you keep your head pressed against the headrest and all that. And I'm sure, you know, I'm sure
Yeah,
that
don't try to
astronauts
look
know
through the
that.
window.
Why are you telling me this like I'm going to be on it?
Well,
You're telling me what to
well, that's
Are
why
you an astronaut training we don't know about?
that's why we brought you here today. You're taking a free ride on the Dragon.
All right. I mean, I'm sure
Where's the clapping, Keagle?
Yeah, we talked to
I
you
missed
about
it.
your
I missed
timing,
it.
didn't we? All right. So the seats are positioned in a way to help absorb the impact as much as possible. And I'm sure they're like super strapped in, right?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
I bet they got a 5-point harness or something, just
Where's
like
this thing?
NASCAR.
Where are they trying to land this thing? For real?
The crew capsule, the Dragon, in the ocean. It'll be. They said that it's. They're going to be landing at about 25 miles offshore. I think. Is that right?
But why? What's the like? Eventually, where are they trying to land them?
In the water. Yeah, the Crew Dragon for the foreseeable future will be landed in water.
No, I totally understand that, but what is the goal? Like they're not Earth.
They're taking
not landing
astronauts to the space station. The Commercial Crew program is it's a NASA program that was started whenever, like I don't know, years ago, not like decades ago, but like in the last 10 years, where this was after the space shuttle had been retired.
Yep.
We need another method to get our own astronauts to space.
We're not relying on paying the Russians.
Yeah, because we've been paying the Russians. At one point, it was like $70 million a seat. Now I think they're looking at more like 82, 85, maybe up to $90 million per seat.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Whereas you can get a Falcon 9 with a Crew Dragon for, I think it's like, I don't know, around the ballparking, just from things I've heard. I'm not an expert, but I think it's like 150 million, because you're paying for the Falcon 9 and the Crew Dragon, and then all the services that go along with it. So it's more than the advertised like Falcon 9s for 62 million. You know, that's kind of their going rate, but you're getting a lot of extra stuff with this. So it's more like 150 million, but you can fly 3 or 4. I know that Starliner is advertising that they're equipped to fly 4 people. Crew Dragon, they have space for 7. Like when they first unveiled the Crew Dragon, it was like, yeah, we got 7 seats in here. I don't know that they'll ever actually fly 7 people, but the point is it's going to be way cheaper than paying the Russians. We'll still ride on the Russian Soyuz, but we won't have to do it all the time. And we may go back to the system where it was before with the space shuttle, where it was a kind of like a give and take. Like we'll fly with them and they'll fly with us, and there's no money exchanging. But then once
you know what it takes to get people up there?
What?
Funding makes this bird go up. That's right. No bucks. No Buck Roger.
There you go.
All right, real question.
All right.
So they're testing the Crew Dragon. What exactly are they testing for? I don't understand. With this one that we just watched, what are they trying to accomplish with that
We
test?
can safely get the astronauts away from a rocket that would blow up.
Okay, so they already have a plan for how they're getting the people from inside that into the space station. This is
That's the easy part.
This is just for like the Mayday.
If there's a problem,
Yeah.
you know, that they don't blow up.
Okay,
you know.
that's what I was confused about, because I was like, what ocean are they going to land in on the space station? I don't understand.
Oh, Yeah,
Now I
they're
understand.
not practicing landing in the ocean. They're practicing escaping an exploding rocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was the missing piece.
Right.
It's here now.
Got it.
I have no further questions.
Okay. Anybody else got anything else on this topic?
No, not on this.
No, no,
I know I'm looking forward to the in-flight abort.
yeah,
I
oh yeah.
really am.
Is there any dates for that yet?
No, it's. I mean, it's supposed.
Speculation.
I think I've heard November.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not too far away then.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully.
Only thing we got coming up is October 17th is Starlink.
Right. And now, media accreditation did open. They did not have a date. They just said we're targeting October.
Yeah.
But that's to be expected. You know.
Oh, yeah, by the way, Stephanie said hi, y'all.
Oh, what up, Steph?
Stephanie.
Stephanie. She good people, y'all. Y'all should go follow her on Twitter.
You should.
Her name is awesome, and I'm not gonna be able to spell it. It's LMNOP. It's not just LMNOP either.
It's spelled phonetically.
Yes.
You can figure it out.
Figure it out. You know the one.
Language. Ugh.
So we found out today, right? This was today with the tanks coming in, the propellant tanks for Vulcan.
Yep.
That was just
tank.
today. Yeah. So they're rolling in the propellant tanks for Vulcan. This is just exciting because I am just really looking forward to seeing this rocket with some solid rockets on the side with the blue flame coming out, because it's going to be a BE4. Blue Origin makes the BE4. It's going to be a BE4 engine, so that is a methane engine.
Yep.
So you know how cool the blue flame looked coming out of the Raptor on the bottom of the Starhopper, Bekah? You remember that how the flames coming out was blue?
Yeah.
That's because they're using methane, and the BE4 is going to use the same type of fuel. So they're going to have this beautiful blue flame coming out, but the Vulcan is going to be kind of like the Atlas V and the Delta IV, where they'll reserve the right to strap on boosters. So you're going to have this beautiful blue flame in the middle. It's just a single, right? They're just doing a single BE4, right?
Dual.
They're
Because
doing
right here,
okay.
The LNG fueled booster will be powered by a pair of Blue Origin 4 engines, each producing 555,000 pounds of sea level thrust.
Here you go. The real question: how many cow farts is that?
17.
A lot.
14 teen.
All of them.
57 half.
Every cow in the world.
Can you throw up? Is it possible to see a picture of what this is going to look like?
The Blue Origin. Yeah.
Whatever
yeah, we
thing
can,
you're talking about.
let's see. BE4 engine.
Yeah. Now, what's going to
this
be
is
awesome?
beautiful. Oh yeah, this is awesome.
Is
Okay.
the second stage is going to be the Centaur, which is going to be just a beast of a second stage, because it has a larger diameter.
Mhm.
So since it has a larger diameter, it has an overall increased performance, which means it uses more fuel. It's just the whole rocket is just going to be super fantastic.
This is going to be awesome. And one point that Tori Bruno tweeted about, I think it was him that pointed out that this will be pad 41 is going to be the only pad that will support two distinctly different rocket families, because you have 39A, which SpaceX uses to launch the Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy, but they're essentially the same rocket, right, as far as the launch pad's concerned. But 41 is going to be used to launch both Atlas V and the Vulcan, so that's really interesting to me.
So the reason why they started bringing in these tanks today is because these tanks are going to be supporting the sheer volume of what the Vulcan is going to be producing, which they're going to be. Its first launch is scheduled for 2021. They are installing 5 new propellant tanks, which is going to be 2 LOX tanks, which are going to be the longest in the world, about 185 feet. And then the Centaur V, which is the big upper sting, is going to require more fuel. That's why they're bringing in all these new tanks, because the 3 new ones are going to be for the boosters. So basically, they're just upping the sheer volume of all the fuel and everything that this new rocket in the first stage and the second stage is going to need to get to the orbit that they have in mind.
Right. So are you looking at this, Bekah? This is what you wanted to see, the blue flame.
Oh
And it's
yeah,
like this clear blue. It's
yeah.
it's going to be so beautiful.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what it's going to look like, from afar when you're watching it. Is it going to be obvious that it's a blue flame, or you know what I mean?
Ah,
Because as you
yeah.
can see, as the flame, the exhaust gets further away from the engine bell, it actually turns back to yellow because I'm assuming because it's burning oxygen just in the atmosphere.
Right.
But closer to the bell, it's that beautiful blue color.
Well, maybe at night in some photos you might be able to definitely pull that out.
Yeah. Oh no, a lot of people are going to be able to get some good shots of that rocket going up.
Man, I can't wait.
Oh, that's going to be some good content
And
right
by
there.
launch pad photos, you're gonna see that blue.
Yeah.
Oh, you already know.
Yeah.
You already know.
That's going to
That'll
be
be
a coffee
interesting.
cup picture.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That'll.
That's going on a T-shirt too.
Yeah.
Wearing my T-shirt, drinking my coffee mug with this picture on it.
Blue flame rocket.
Blue
That's
flames. Man.
it.
Yeah.
The Blue Orphans.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say, but I can't wait. I just can't
That's
wait.
in November.
Oh no, the Vulcan doesn't
No.
launch until 2021.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, we still got 2 more years.
Yeah, and the New Glenn I think is supposed to be right around the same time, so we
Yeah.
won't see that pretty blue flame for a while. But now,
Oh, New Glenn.
if Starship really does start doing its test flights from
Mhm.
here, then we'll see it. We'll see it then.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if SpaceX is going to allow like remote cameras for those. I don't know if they will.
I don't see why not.
Invite the media in and well, they don't do it for Starhopper.
No, that's true. That
That
is very true. I didn't think about that.
It's like totally testing. It's not operational.
You're
I
right.
don't get invited to anything, so I don't know.
Well, maybe operational will be a kind of a different story because it is operational compared to testing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if it's testing and they're inviting media to come in and something goes on, then it kind of tarnishes their name a little bit. You know what I mean? Compared to operational, then it's like, well, it's media, things happen. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I'm definitely really curious now.
Yeah. They claim that they are still trying to at least go for a suborbital flight before the end of the year. But it just seems like, I don't know, man. It just seems like there's so much going on between now and the end of the year. I just don't know if it's.
It is, but they are making great progress on all that stuff, though. Like they are doing really good progress.
Yeah. We'll see when they move it out there. That's the big question on everybody's mind right now is when are they going to move Starship?
So, speaking of that topic, Keagle has some interesting stuff that he would like to share with us on that particular topic here in Coco.
Wow. Talking about Starship.
Yeah,
Yep.
and
Starship.
I still did not get that.
I sent it to you.
oh my God.
I did not get it. Nope, did not get it.
All right, let me send it again real quick.
Did you send it to my personal one this time?
I sent it to
Don't say it.
after Steve.
I mean, I don't care if people know it, honestly, but
All you do, you can be sending
At what? At what?
at
Though?
Gmail.
Oh wow. You did, oh, okay, all right.
The
Well,
only
give it
thing,
out.
the only thing I would ever use.
Go ahead, say
At
it.
AOL.
So Steve-O.
At AOL.com.
It's still around.
I actually met a guy that used AOL. I was out there before the hurricane. I was out there shooting the surfers, and I got like the first surfer that I got. Like nobody was catching waves, and then I got this one guy, and he caught a pretty good wave. I got some okay shots, and as he was walking up the shore, I was like, "Hey, wait, hey! I got some pretty good shots of you. If you want me to, I'll email them to you." And he gave me his email address, and it was an at AOL. And he was like, "I know, man. I started this." I started this back in the 90s or whenever.
He's gonna fire his computer up and hear this.
You've got mail.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Oh, there we go.
Old school.
There we go. Wait, let's see. Can I open image in new tab and then move this tab over here? I want to make sure that's visible on the stream. Okay, yeah. All right. Now, what were you going to show us, Keagle?
All right, so you got that up. This is my crude drawing with my finger lines here. So the red is the path that the Starship might be taking, that everyone thinks.
Supposedly, I mean, according to official documents.
Yeah, so that's going to go that way. And this blue line is actually a high-speed rail that's going to be, that they've already cleared. Like,
Huh.
you probably noticed, Steve, when you get off the exit on 528 there, that it's all been just, it's all cleared. All the way up to
Yeah,
that
yeah, I
cement
have
factory.
noticed. Yeah, it does look different.
That is why. So it's going to make a turn and go underneath 528 turn, and then it's going to follow 528 all the way to Orlando and eventually go to Tampa.
Oh.
So they are clearing that now, and they're making a path. So
Are
I
you
don't know.
thinking maybe they'll like build
is there
it?
some kind of? No, I just wondered if there's going to be some kind of like, is there a weight requirement to go over tracks? Because now it's going to have to go over tracks. Like how much?
Have they? They haven't started laying tracks, have they?
I just talking about for like the future. If they continue to build it there,
Oh, you know what? I don't think they're. I think once they move Starship from there, they're not going to be building them anymore. They might be like building the ring sections or something. But there's that other. It's on like Rogers Road, I think. It's up like in Kennedy Space Center, where they're doing a lot of work out there, and I think they're going to actually build a factory for Starship out there.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Then it'd be fine.
that way they don't have to go through this whole thing. I think that this site in Cocoa was intended
temporary?
just to be kind of like a figuring it out phase, and especially because the facility was already there and it had a lot of the tooling I think that they already needed.
Yeah.
And it had that sort of warehouse thing structure, whereas the one over at Kennedy doesn't have all that stuff. They just bought like a plot of land and are just now starting to like lay foundations and stuff.
Yeah, I just wondered if that would impede anything in the future. But if they're not going to be doing it much longer,
I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's been my assumptions. Like this is it. Like once Starship has been moved from the Cocoa site, I don't think we're going to see any more Starship construction there. I think we might see those rings, like I said, they might be welding the rings together and then just shipping them over, but that you don't have to close lanes of traffic to do that. You just load them up on a flatbed and go.
I just thought that was interesting. I didn't know if
It would be really cool though if they did keep building it there and then they used that high-speed rail to get it out to Kennedy.
Well, but it's coming from like down south and then it's basically just following like US 1.
Oh,
and it's
okay.
gonna turn underneath that bridge and then go towards Orlando.
So we're gonna have like a high-speed rail option to get to Orlando.
Correct. So there's going to be a station in Cocoa too. You can hop on, and then eventually it's going to go from Orlando to Tampa. So you can hop on, go from Cocoa, do Orlando stop, and go straight to Tampa.
Wait, hold
and
on.
come back.
Is this Boring Company?
No.
No,
Or
no.
completely
They cleared this like years and years ago.
Oh,
and now
okay,
they're just slowly starting to build it out.
So we're talking about Elon Musk stuff, and I'm like, is that Boring Company?
Yeah,
Like,
wouldn't that
Yeah,
be
because
awesome?
the highway right now goes from Miami. It makes it, I think, up to Vero Beach, which Vero Beach is, I don't know, an hour and a half
Really?
south of here.
Because I remember
yeah.
years ago it was like Florida jumped on the train, the high-speed train, and
The Central.
and they were gonna get this huge like federal government grant or subsidy or whatever you call it, and then like a couple months later they're like, oh, never mind, we're not gonna do it.
No, originally, it was that they were like, they said yes, and then they dipped out, and now after that they said okay, so they've been on it.
That's cool. Yeah, I wouldn't mind a fast way to get over to Tampa. What I'd really like is a fast way to get over to Clearwater because I like Clearwater Beach. Still
Yeah,
wanting to
right?
go over there.
Ah,
I've only been
Fort-
one time and I had a great time.
you gotta go Fort DeSoto if you're gonna go over to Clearwater area.
Oh,
But
really?
also, if you think about it, from here, you go the opposite way. You can go from here to Miami.
Oh yeah.
Keys.
Yeah, you can go to the
Oh, yeah. You can just
Well, I mean, you get to Miami.
take
but-
the speed train to Miami and then just get an Uber to Key West.
Or just like borrow Jimmy Buffett's
Still
flip
be
flops
expensive.
and walk.
Oh God, that'd be so long.
Hey, Jimmy. Borrow
wanna
them
make it
flip flops.
down to- Oh man. No, that'd be too far. Like Miami to actual Key West. I don't know how far that would be.
It's a long. It's what was it like? Once you get to the Keys, it's like another 3 hours till you get to Key
Something like
West,
that.
right?
Yeah.
Jeez.
I like walking. Be fun.
All right, we'll just walk it. That ain't no biggie. Maybe we'll hitch a ride on the back of a key deer.
Or two.
Yeah, it would be. So once you got to Miami to get to Key West, it's 165 miles. That'd be one hell of an Uber ride.
Golly.
It's still 3 hours and 9 minutes.
Man. Well, y'all, anything else? That sounds like a show to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bekah,
I think we got it.
did you find the flat earther?
Oh, I forgot. I forgot that was my assignment.
Yeah, the title of the last show.
Oh
Okay,
man.
Here, I have a question about. See, this is what I'm here for. Is questions. I have a question about my assignment. Do you want me to just
Somebody's
go with?
listening to the show. Turn that down.
Who's
Somebody's
doing it?
turn it
Not
down.
Matt. It's not me.
You can't do it. You can't do that. You gotta mute it. All right.
All right. So as far as the flat earther goes, should I just go with the one that I already know exists and have spoken to before, or should I find an all new one?
Well,
Should
I
be
mean,
hard.
the one you already know is a couple states away, right?
Yeah, but we're on Google Hangouts.
Yeah, you're right. You
Well, we had that one that commented on our video. We can message that guy.
find them.
Wow. My assignment was literally handed to me.
It
and
was.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that saw it too, and I didn't even. Wow.
He said, "What did he say? If the Earth is round, why don't we fall off or something?"
Yeah, the classic argument.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we've got like
Pesky gravity.
we've got stations down in Antarctica. Why don't they fall off?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a good point.
It's an excellent.
I can't
point.
wait. I cannot wait to hear this debated by several intellectuals, not experts,
Not us.
not experts, just intellectuals.
Yes, intellectuals. All right. Well, that's our show. We appreciate you for tuning in. If you did tune in, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Pressing for Flight. That's a number 4 because if you put the word 4 in there, it won't fit. So it's Pressing for Flight on Twitter with the number 4, and
Facebook.
And Facebook, yeah. If you're
Facebook.
more
Yeah.
if you're more into Facebook, definitely just search "Pressing for Flight" like you normally would spell it, and you'll find us on there. You'll see our nice little logo there, and you'll just like us on there, and we'll let you know when stuff's happening.
Yeah. I got an ending sound if you want.
Do it.
Shutdown sequence initiated. Shutting down.